The streets never sleep. And in episode 9 of BMF season 4, the tension is thicker than ever. One wrong move could end a legacy, and one secret could burn everything to the ground. Loyalties are cracking, enemies are moving in, and every choice feels like a trap. This isn't just another episode, it's the moment where power, family, and survival all collide. And not everyone is walking away. Last week's episode 8 left us with questions hanging in the air like smoke after a gunfight. Meech had finally started to stabilize his new territory, but the cracks were already showing. Charles was still wrestling with the choices he's made, choices that could destroy what's left of the family. And Terry, he's caught between being a businessman and being a brother, trying to keep the money flowing while keeping Meech from going too far. Episode 9 wastes no time reminding us that there's no safe space in this world. The very first moments throw us right back into the chaos. We open with the low hum of the city at night, street lights buzzing, tires screeching in the distance, and that constant feeling that someone's watching. The camera moves through an alley, slow and steady, as if we're creeping right into danger. And then we see him Meechelaning against a black SUV, eyes locked on a warehouse across the street. No words yet, just his breath in the cold air, and the weight of whatever's about to happen pressing down on him. The soundtrack is tense, almost like a warning. You can tell Meech is working something out in his head. Inside that warehouse, there's a deal going down, and it's not one he's fully in control of. This isn't about money, it's about respect, leverage, and showing the right people he's still the one in charge. But here's the problem. The game has changed. The people across that table don't owe Meech anything. They're not from his old world. They don't care about his past wins. And in their eyes, he's just another player trying to get in the game while Meech waits. We cut to Terry in a completely different scene, a quiet back office, lit only by the glow of a desk lamp. Papers, ledgers, and stacks of bills are scattered everywhere. He's on the phone, trying to keep a delivery from falling apart. The stress is all over his face. He knows Meech is taking risks, but he also knows they can't afford to lose control of this deal. It's a perfect setup for the episode's tension. Two brothers, two different fronts, both about to collide in ways they can't predict. Back outside the warehouse. A blacked out van pulls up. 3 men step out, faces hard, no smiles, no wasted movements. They look like they've come for business, and not the friendly kind. Meech takes a slow breath, pushes off the SUV, and walks toward the door. That's when the screen cuts to black and the title card hits. BMF, Season 4, Episode 9. It's a reminder that in this show, the calm moments are just the breath before the storm, and this storm is about to hit hard. The heavy warehouse door groans as it swings open, and the sound echoes in the empty night. Inside, the air feels different, thicker, warmer, and carrying the faint smell of gasoline and dust. The space is lit by a few flickering bulbs hanging from long cords, swaying slightly, like they're nervous about what's about to happen. Meech steps inside, his sneakers tapping softly against the concrete floor. Every footstep seems louder than it should be, almost like the room wants him to know he's walking into someone else's territory. At the far end, there's a long metal table. Around it sit 3 men, 2 he's never seen before, and one he recognizes instantly. Rico, a mid-level player with a reputation for never smiling unless something's about to go bad. The 2 unknown men are silent, just watching. They don't need to introduce themselves, their posture says everything. Broad shoulders, calm eyes, and no visible weapons, which somehow feels more dangerous than if they had guns out. These are people who don't need to show power. They just carry it. Meech doesn't sit right away. He stands at the edge of the table, his hands resting on the back of a chair. This is a move subtle but calculated. Sitting too soon would make him look eager. Standing too long could make him look like he's challenging them. He finds the middle ground, waits just long enough, then takes the seat opposite Rico. No one speaks for a full 5 seconds. It's the kind of silence that can break a man if he's not used to it. But Meech is. He knows this is the part where they're measuring him, deciding whether to treat him like an equal or like someone who needs to be put in his place. Finally, Rico breaks the silence. You got something worth my time, Meech. His tone is casual, but the weight behind it is anything but. Meech leans back, his face unreadable. I don't waste time, Rico. I bring opportunities. The taller of the 2 strangers smirks, like he's testing the edge of a blade. Opportunities cost money. respect, sometimes blood. Asterisk, it's clear this meeting isn't just about a deal, let's a test. They're pushing to see how far they can lean on him before he breaks. Meech lays out his offer: steady product, smooth distribution, and territory that's already proven profitable. But there's a catch: he needs their supply to make it happen. Asterisk, the shorter man, still silent until now, finally speaks. We hear you got problems. That true? His voice is low, almost too calm. Asterisk, Meech doesn't flinch. Everybody's got problems. Difference is, I solve mine. Asterisk, the tension thickens. No one's yelling, no one's even raising a voice, but the danger is right there in the air. It's the kind of conversation where one wrong word could mean the deal's dead or worse. Asterisk, the scene ends with no handshake, no agreement, just a promise. They'll think about it. Meech knows what that means. They're going to check every word he just said, and if any of it doesn't line up, there will be consequences. Asterisk, he walks out of the warehouse into the cold night, pulling his jacket tighter, his mind already racing. Deals like this don't get made in one night. They get earned or taken. And for Meech, taking might be the only option. Asterisk, the hum of the warehouse fades, replaced by the muffled tick of an old desk clock. We're in a small back office now. Flash. No gold chains. Just four walls, a desk, and the weight of responsibility pressing in from all sides. Terry sits hunched forward, elbows on the table, eyes locked on a set of invoices that don't add up. There's a delivery scheduled for tonight, but the numbers are off, too much missing, too many gaps. In their world, a missing shipment doesn't just mean lost money. It means someone, somewhere, is playing their own game. Asterisk, he rubs his temples, the stress building. A phone vibrates on the desk, its low buzz sounding like a warning. He answers without hesitation. Asterisk, on the other end is Denise, one of their most reliable drivers. Except tonight, her voice isn't steady. I don't know who these guys are, but they're telling me I can't move without paying extra. Asterisk, Terry sits back, his mind already running through scenarios. Extra payment means a shakedown. A shakedown means someone staking a claim ether on his route, his product, or his people. None of those are acceptable. Asterisk, where are you? Terry asks, his tone calm but sharp. Asterisk, corner of Gratiot and Van Dyke. Two black SUVs. Asterisk, that's all he needs to hear. He hangs up and pulls open the bottom drawer of his desk. Inside, wrapped in a soft cloth, is a pistol. It's not for intimidation, it's insurance. He tucks it into his waistband, grabs his coat, and steps into the night. Asterisk, cut to him driving, the city lights sliding across his face. This isn't the Terry we saw last season, the one who wanted out, who wanted a clean break. This is a man who's learned that the game doesn't let you walk away, and if you do, it takes something from you first. Asterisk, when he arrives, the scene is tense. Denise's truck is parked with its hazard lights flashing. Two men stand by the SUVs, one leaning casually against the hood, the other pacing slowly, like he's killing time until something happens. Asterisk, Terry gets out. Calm but deliberate, his hands visible. He approaches Denise first. You good? She nods, but her eyes say otherwise. Asterisk, one of the men steps forward, smirking. This your load? Asterisk, Terry doesn't answer the question. This is my driver. She's gonna finish her route. Asterisk, the smirk fades, not without paying the toll. Asterisk, it's a power play, and everyone knows it. Pay now, and they'll expect it every time. Refuse, and things get ugly. Terry's mind works fast, he can't afford to back down. But he also can't afford a shootout that draws attention. Asterisk, he takes a slow step closer. You know whose route this is? Asterisk, the man shrugs. Don't care. Tonight it's ours. Asterisk, that's when Terry leans in, his voice dropping to a tone that's half warning, half promise. Then you better be ready for what comes with it. Asterisk, it's a gamble. The men stare him down for a long moment before one finally laughs, signaling to the other. They step back, slow and reluctant. Denise doesn't waste time, she's back in the truck and pulling away. Asterisk. Terry watches the SUVs drive off in the opposite direction. He knows this isn't over. People don't just test you once. They come back harder, smarter, and hungrier, and when they do, he'll have to be ready. Asterisk, back in his car, he dials Meech. No answer. A text pops up instead. In a meeting, call you after. Terry stares at the message for a long beat. Two different fights, two different fronts, but one wrong. move from either of them could bring the whole thing crashing down. Asterisk. The screen fades from Terry's phone to Meech stepping back into his SUV. The warehouse meeting didn't end with blood, but it didn't end with trust either. He knows the next 48 hours will decide whether he's made a power move or signed his own death warrant. Asterisk, he slides behind the wheel and checks his phone for missed calls from Terry. One message, "We got a problem." Asterisk, Meech dials back. Terry answers on the first ring. His voice is low, clipped. "Your meeting, who were they?" Asterisk, Meech doesn't like the question. "Why?" Asterisk, "Because two of their people just tried to tax my driver. Same black SUVs, same style. They backed off, but that's not a one-time thing." Asterisk, the realization hits like a sucker punch. These aren't two separate problems, they're the same one. The crew Meech just tried to partner with is already moving in on Terry's routes, testing their territory before the ink's even dry on a deal. Asterisk, they're making a play. Meech says, "Finally." Asterisk, they're making two plays. Terry fires back, and they think they can do it because we're not on the same page. Asterisk, the silence that follows isn't brotherly, it's strategic. Both know that if they don't shut this down now, they'll lose more than just a route or a supply line, they'll lose control of the whole operation. Asterisk, cut to later that night. The brothers meet in a dimly lit parking lot, the kind of place where every shadow looks like it's hiding someone. No smiles, no small talk. Terry leans against his car, arms crossed. Meech steps out of his SUV, his eyes scanning the lot before locking on his brother. Asterisk, they don't respect lines. Terry says, "They see space, they take it." Asterisk, Meech nods. "Then we take it back." Asterisk, the plan is quick and brutal, hit one of their smaller drop points, send a message without starting an all-out war. But there's a risk. If they move too hard, too fast, the crew could retaliate by pulling the supply Meech needs to keep his own deal alive. Asterisk, still, hesitation is worse than action in their world. They load up, 2 cars deep, and head out. The ride is silent except for the low rumble of the engines. You can feel the weight of the decision. This isn't about pride anymore, it's survival. Asterisk, they pull up to the drop, a small auto shop on the edge of town. Looks harmless from the outside, neon sign. A couple of cars parked out front, but inside, it's one of the crew's stash spots. 2 guards stand by the door, hands in their pockets, eyes sharp. Asterisk, Meech and Terry move like clockwork. One approaches from the front, the other slips around back. The next few minutes are a blur, doors kicked open, guards disarmed, product seized. No shots fired, but the message is clear, this is ours. Asterisk, before leaving, Meech spots something, crates marked with the same symbol he saw at the warehouse meeting. It's confirmation, there's no more guessing who's behind this. Asterisk, they leave the shop in flames, not enough to burn it to the ground, but enough for smoke to rise over the neighborhood like a signal flare. Anyone looking for a message just got it. Asterisk, as they drive off, Terry glances at his brother. They're not gonna let this slide. Asterisk, Meech's eyes stay on the road. Good. Now they know we won't either. Asterisk, the scene cuts to black, but the sound we hear isn't silence, it's the distant wail of sirens getting closer. Faster, like trouble's already on its way. Asterisk, the sirens fade into the background as Meech and Terry split up. 2 separate cars heading in different directions, but both carrying the same thought. The war has already started. The retaliation at the auto shop was supposed to be a warning. Instead, it feels like the first domino falling in a chain they can't stop. Asterisk, cut to the crew they just hit. The warehouse that earlier felt calm and calculated is now in chaos. The crates are gone, their drop point is smoldering, and the 2 guards shaken but alive are explaining how they were blindsided. Rico stands in the center, his face tight, jaw clenched. The taller man from the meeting, the one who smirked at Meech, is pacing like a caged animal. "We can't let that slide," he says, over and over, like a mantra. Asterisk, back on Meech's side. Word is spreading fast. A crew like Rico's doesn't keep secrets, not when their reputation's on the line. By morning, everyone will know BMF hit them. Meech knows this works both ways. It shows strength, but it also puts a target on their backs. He's counting on fear to buy them time. Asterisk, Terry, on the other hand, isn't convinced fear will be enough. In his mind, people like Rico don't back down, they regroup. He starts making calls, pulling in favors from people who still owe him. Old drivers, corner boys, even some out-of-town contacts. not soldiers' eyes and ears. If someone's going to make a move, Terry wants to know before it happens. Asterisk, but while Terry's focused on the streets, Meech is thinking bigger. He sets up a meeting with one of Rico's suppliers, a man who moves weight quietly through the city without taking sides. The idea is simple: cut the supplier a better deal, and Rico's whole operation starts bleeding from the inside. Asterisk, this is where the slow burn begins to glow hotter. We watch as Rico gets the news that one of his next shipments is delayed. His temper flares, and the pacing stops. Find out who's behind it, he snaps. But in this world, finding out is just the first step. The real question is, what do you do when you know? Asterisk, night falls, and the city feels heavier. In separate scenes, we see both brothers preparing for whatever comes next. Meech loading cash into a duffel, Terry checking a map of their routes. It's quiet work, methodical, like men setting traps in the dark, but the silence is misleading. Because the trap they're setting is also one they might walk into themselves. Asterisk. Then comes the phone call that changes the rhythm of the night. It's Denise again, her voice shaking. They're watching the house. Asterisk, the camera cuts to a slow zoom through her windshield, across the street from her parked truck, to black SUVs idle under a flickering streetlight. No one gets out. No one moves. They're waiting. Asterisk, Terry's eyes narrow. Stay in the truck. Don't move. Asterisk, he hangs up and dials. Meech, the conversation is short, almost too calm for what's happening. They're not just hitting our routes, Terry says. They're coming for us. Asterisk, Meech doesn't ask how he knows. He just says, then it's time we hit first. Asterisk, the section ends with a slow pullback shot. Those black SUVs still parked under the streetlight, the glow turning the wet pavement into a mirror. In the reflection, we see the shapes of the men inside. They're not restless. They're patient. And patience in this game usually means someone's already decided how the next move ends. Asterisk. The stillness outside Denise's truck doesn't last. One of the SUVs suddenly flicks on its headlights, blinding her for a moment. The other pulls forward just enough to block the street. No horns, no shouting, just a slow, deliberate trap closing in. Asterisk, Terry's car screeches to a halt 2 blocks away. He kills the lights and approaches on foot, keeping low between parked cars. He can see Denise's silhouette in the cab of her truck, both hands gripping the wheel. The SUVs haven't moved closer, but the tension is suffocating. Asterisk, meanwhile, Meech is coming from the opposite direction, engine growling low. His phone buzzes Terry's location ping. No time for words. He swings the car into a side alley, cutting the distance fast. Asterisk, then it happens. The driver's door on the lead SUV swings open. A man steps out, his face hidden under a hood, his movements calm but purposeful. He walks straight toward Denise's truck, no hesitation. Behind him, the second SUV's doors open, and 2 more figures spill out, fanning to the sides like they've done this before. Asterisk, Terry grips the pistol in his waistband, the cold metal grounding him. He knows one wrong step could turn this into a shootout in the middle of a neighborhood. He's about to move when the low roar of Meech's SUV cuts through the night. Headlights blaze as Meech floors it out of the alley. The big engine eating the pavement. Asterisk, the crew doesn't scatter, they turn. One of them reaches inside his jacket. Asterisk, everything slows. Denise's eyes widen. Terry's finger hovers near the trigger. Meech's SUV is almost on them. And then black screen. Over the darkness, we hear 3 sounds. The sharp click of a gun being cocked, the slam of a car door, asterisk, and a single voice. Low and cold. End of the line. Asterisk, title card 2. Be continued. Asterisk.